Welcome everyone to the Open-E webinar. On this day we're going to be talking about send log events from the DSS V7 server to a remote log server. So some of the topics that we're going to be going over to is how to enable the remote log server configuration in the DSS V7. And we're going to be setting the IP address of the remote logging server, which we're going to be using a Ubuntu workstation 13.0. Then we're going to set the port, and then we're going to view the logs. And I'm going to show you some ways to install the syslog.ng for the Ubuntu. The overview is going to look like this. We're going to have the DSS V7, as you see down here on the bottom, and that's going to send the syslog to the IP address of the remote log server. And right up on top is our remote log server, and this could be a Linux server or a workstation that will receive the syslog from the DSS V7. Now there's some other applications that could be used from Microsoft. There's a Kiwi that some of our customers use to collect the logs, and I'm sure there's other applications out there. For now, we're just going to use the syslog and just give a short demonstration of how this is going to work. What I've done, and I'm going to leave this page up a little bit because some of you may want to watch the video and pause it and kind of follow the steps. One of the first things you're going to need to do, if you see, we're going to be installing the syslog right here, and then we're going to proceed with the dependencies that are necessary. So you'll have the other four that I'm notating right here, and we're going to install that. Then we're going to create the directory. Here's where we're going to send the syslogs to. So right here you're going to see we're going to create the directory for under the var log, and then we're going to name it V7. Then after that we're going to configure the syslog-ng.conf file, and below are the changes what we're going to make. The default, you are going to have to make some modifications. Here you'll see that this is going to be the local machine of my Ubuntu workstation, and here right underneath is going to be my DSS server. And of course we're going to use the default port for syslog that comes with it. We're going to use 514. And of course you can add other parameters, but right now we're just going to get the syslog to the Ubuntu workstation, and here we denote it to the file quotation marks, and you're going to have /var/log, and of course the directory we created, which is V7, and to be able to get the syslog files. And then when we're done, we're going to need to go ahead and restart the syslog.ng right here. So this is where we're going to use the sudo /service syslog-ng restart. By the way, that's not a capital S down there. That was a typo on my end, so profuse apologies. That's a lowercase s, as it is case sensitive with Linux. Alright, so let's go ahead and start. Let's get out of the presentation mode of this, and we're going to start with the DSS. So here with the DSS V7, I'm going to go right up to the top tab, which is Setup, and then I'm going to click on Administrator Settings. I'm going to scroll down, and here you're going to see the remote log server configuration. On the question mark, if you click here, there's even an example here of what to set for your syslog conf file, and we give you a little example, but I've kind of bypassed that just to speed things along so you can follow my process and be able to get the syslog. Okay, so the IP address is going to be my Ubuntu workstation, and so we can verify that. Now I've created a virtual machine. So here we have one of my virtual machines. Let's go ahead and get rid of this, and let's verify the IP address. So if we do ifconfig, we see that my ETH0 is not, I'm not using DHCP, by the way, and there are some mentions in some forums that not to use DHCP with syslog, and because of the firewall rules. So I just made it static, and it's my 192.168.1.93, and of course that's my Ubuntu workstation. Now let's go back to the DSS. So I've entered my IP address here, and I've set the port to 514. This is going to be set for TCP, though you do have the option of using UDP, which is connectionless. Now, as you can see, I'm going to select the default for TCP, and that's it from the DSS side. So pretty much we're done here. Let's go ahead and go right to the Ubuntu system. Now I've created a test one, And this one's already running. If we look here, that I already have the syslog already installed. It's working, but I kind of wanted to get another system running so I can walk you through it. I think that's very helpful. Then later on, you'll see when we go into the directory that I created under the var directory and log directory, here you'll see I have V7, and here you'll see that I have the syslog files coming from the DSS V7. And we're going to make it an event. In fact, why don't I show you right now before we proceed to install the syslog-ng so you could see what kind of events we're having. So today, on December 17th, later this afternoon at around lunchtime, I decided to move the cluster services. Why don't we do that right now so we can see if we can get an update. It takes a few minutes. So let's go to the DSS and let's make an event happen. So here we'll go to Setup, and I have my failover. So we'll go to Failover and scroll down to my resource pool. So here I've got my resource pool, my local node on this system. And I'm going to move all my iSCSI resources over to the other node, to the remote node. So let's go ahead and move it. And now right now it's moving those resources over to my other node, which would be node A. So my node A, which is denoted here as my remote node, these resources are now moved over. And you can see that it denotes that resources were moved successfully. So let's go back to, they were moved back to the local node, so we can move them again so we get more activity. And let that run. Now let's go back to the Ubuntu system that I have for a test system. So to install the syslog-ng, we first want to do sudo space nano space apt-get space install space syslog-ng. We're going to put the password. Oh, let me get this out. I made a wrong parameter. Profuse apologies, guys. I should have seen that. Let's kill this. Bring up the terminal. Had the wrong one set up. Here we go. So we're going to go sudo apt-get install syslog-ng password. So this is going to take a second. It's going to want you to, for more disk space, just answer Y for yes. And then it's going to come and it's going to ask for some dependencies. So there's a lot of packages here that it's running. Okay, so now we have to install the other packages that it's needing. And usually if you want, you can just go ahead and just cursor arrow up the key to bring up the previous command. And we want to say syslog-ng-core. And then we'll do the next one, which will be ng mod-sql. And the next one, we're going to do ng, we're going to backspace into this, and we're going to go mod-mon god-b. Is relatively quick. And then the last one, JSON. Okay, so now I fully installed all the dependencies and also the main of syslog-ng. So we know that we have it installed. The next, what you want to do is create a directory where you're going to store the syslogs. So here we want to be able to, let's go to the var directory /log var. And so what we want to do is be able to create a directory for the DSS logs to be placed into. So let's go ahead, and I'm going to make it just V7, something very simple. You could change it to whatever you want. Oh, we got to do sudo fat fingers today. Sudo mkdir v7. Okay, there's our v7 right there. Right now there's nothing in there. So what we'll do next is just verify. So we'll go to cd v7 and there's nothing listed in there. Okay, so now what we want to do next is we want to be able to go into the Etsy syslog-ng and configure the syslog-ng.com file. So we'll go sudo nano Etsy syslog-ng sys.com file. Okay, so here's a lot of standards that they already put in the defaults. You want to, at this point, you can uncomment this out and place in here underneath where it states if you wish to get logs from a remote machine, you should uncomment this and comment the above source line. Now, I've been able to get it without the above line because the above line, if we look here, logs come from a Unix stream, but not from another machine. So you can leave this blank and uncomment this out, but I have added it, and I'll show it to you my other conf file that the system's running in, so you can go ahead and make a copy of it. What you want to do, though, mainly is drop this down, uncomment, leave the source space s_net. Then you've got your brackets TCP, and then in your parentheses here your IP, and of course this will be the IP address of the DSS server. So you want to put this 192.168.1.221, which is my DSS server that's running now. We're going to set that to port 514, and then that's going to be needed for that. So we can additionally add it here, and let's go ahead and uncomment this. So I'll give you another way of showing you. Let's take this out. And so what we'll have here, source s_source again, a little space, our bracket, TCP, parentheses IP, parentheses 192.168.1.93, which is my Ubuntu workstation. Actually, this would be a different IP address, but we'll just go ahead. I think I put it 94. And then here, in fact, let's verify that. I always do. Let's bring up a new terminal. Should be 94. So 43. Okay. So let's kill this. Set this back to 43. Now we'll put in our port. We're going to be listening at 514 and end it. Okay. Now the next thing you want to be aware of is to put the destination files of the syslog. If you scroll on down, you'll see that there is already a syslog already listed, that, or if it's not, you can place it in there. So here I have one listed for my destination log. So what I'll do is I'll just put V7 / my syslog. And that way it's already done, it's already there. So you can add others, but you could read more of the man files to do that. Let's go ahead and write the file. So you want to do Control-O, which will write to it, just hit enter, and then Control-X and we're out. Sometimes I like to verify that it's been configuration changes were made, so I just verify, go back in once more, and I see that it has. Okay, so we can exit out. Now, to verify that we will collect this information, you would have to change the IP address of the DSS to the 192.168.1.43. Now let's go to our system that already has the syslog running, so that way you can see that once you've done all these steps, what you should be receiving is the syslog events. So let's go ahead and get out, close without saving. So let's back out and let's start from the beginning. So again, we've installed the syslog. What you want to verify is go to the Etsy directory. Scroll on down to look for the syslog-ng. So here's the syslog-ng, and of course here's the syslog-ng.conf file. So in this one, if we open it up, we will see that we set the parameters for this machine, which is the 1.93 that we've placed on the DSS. Let's go back and match it. So you see again, so you have this, the 192.168.1.93. And we also have it set for the source, which is a server of the DSS, and that's the IP address we're using. And once you have that set, then you can change other parameters. Here I've set for other information logs to be put in there, V7, and then that's where my syslog is, the dmessage log package, and so forth. But let's just do the syslog. So once that's complete, we should be able to get events into the log directory, which is contained in the var. So if we go to computer, right here on the left, you'll see that I'll go ahead and to the var directory, and you'll see the log directory. That's its default. And here's the V7 log directory that I created, similar to the event. So you're going to get a syslog message. Looks like we got some events that took place later on today, and you'll see that we also made some events where we moved the resources, because right now when we did that, we started off, it was 2 o'clock. So here 1400 hours would be 2 o'clock, and we moved the cluster resources to the remote node and local node. So you can see these events that take place, and therefore you could store all your syslog events. So it's kind of like the quick and dirty what I want to present to you. There are a lot of forums out there that talk about syslogs, a lot of information if you Google it about syslog and how to customize it. It's just a plethora of information, but I wanted to keep it simple and clean so that way you can just get your logs immediately and start working. The other thing I usually check is, just to make sure that I'm not confusing myself, is to go back and recheck the syslog-ng.conf file. There are others called remote syslog and a few others that you could use and modify, but usually we stuck with these in the beginning because we mentioned that right here in the question mark of the syslog remote viewing for the configuration, and we have the information here as well. So we mentioned to install syslog software, but there are others, like I said. Anyway, I hope that helps with everybody. If you have any questions, please get back to us always at pre-sales@open-e.com, and we'll be happy to answer any questions you have. Take care. Have a great day.